Let's talk about how to unmask a narcissist. I could start by telling you the biggest truth about this. It's not easy. The hard part is, most of the work falls on you, and even then, it might not completely work. But it could still be worth trying, if for no other reason than to bring you a little more peace of mind. Because in some cases, even a small bit of clarity can help you feel more sane. So, let's look at how this happens. Have you ever been in a conversation with a narcissistic, manipulative, or antagonistic person? You're doing all the right things. You're not defending yourself, not explaining, not engaging in arguments, not personalizing what they say. You're practicing radical acceptance. You're even managing your own emotions well, keeping calm, standing strong. But narcissistic people are like professional fighters when it comes to conflict. They can go all 15 rounds without losing steam, and they will wear you down little by little. With narcissists, it often feels like a war of endurance. At first, you might hold your ground like a Zen master while they throw one wild comment after another, but after a while, you might get tired. Maybe they hit one of your pressure points. Maybe they're just in a bad mood that day. Maybe they accuse you of something horrible, something you never did and would never do. That's the painful part of dealing with narcissists. They know exactly where to hurt you, especially if they've known you a long time. Family members who are narcissistic are experts at this because they've spent years learning your weak spots. They know exactly what to say to get a reaction out of you. They might accuse you of something false, insult you in a way that cuts deep, tease you about something that makes you self-conscious, or keep insisting that you're too emotional or not capable, even when you're the one holding everything together. For short periods, narcissistic people can stay calm, especially during arguments. Over time, however, as they continue pushing, they wear you out. Your effort to not react, to stay composed, is exhausting because it takes an enormous amount of self-control. Most survivors of narcissistic relationships tend to overregulate. It's a mix of numbness, helplessness, and trauma responses. You've learned that showing emotions can be dangerous or pointless, so you train yourself not to react. That's part of what trauma does. It teaches you that silence and restraint are safer than expressing pain. But if a confrontation goes on long enough, most of us eventually crack. We might yell back, say something sharp, or defend ourselves. When that happens, the narcissist will usually stay calm, or even get calmer, as you get more upset. They might start speaking in a soothing tone, like they're the reasonable one trying to calm you down. And that makes you feel awful because it feels like they've won. Now, I always say, never call a narcissistic person out directly. It doesn't end well. It only makes an already messy situation worse. And nothing actually changes, but some people still feel like they have to try. So if that's you, let's talk about how unmasking can actually work. Unmasking doesn't mean they'll suddenly admit, "You're right, I'm narcissistic, and that must be hard for you." That never happens. Unmasking usually means other people start to see their behavior for what it is. Maybe you put a little fear in them, or maybe their usual tricks stop working. But I need to say this clearly. Not everyone can or should try to unmask a narcissist. It takes a lot of inner work and emotional strength, and it can take time to build those skills. But if you do want to try, here are some ways to pull their smug mask off. The key to unmasking a narcissist is this. As long as you're the only one suffering, no one else will believe you. Other people usually need to experience the narcissist's behavior firsthand before they truly see it. It's an ugly truth, but sometimes the only way others recognize the manipulation is when they get hurt too. The goal of unmasking isn't to expose them in a dramatic way. It's to let the truth slowly reveal itself through their own actions, without you having to keep proving your pain to others. So, first and foremost, don't take the bait. I know it sounds simple, but it's the hardest thing to do. Narcissists are experts at baiting you into reacting, and when you stop reacting, they lose control, but they'll escalate before they give up. The insults will get nastier, their attacks more personal. If you can hold firm through that storm, if you can stay calm and not engage, they'll start to deflate over time. That's when you'll see them switch roles and play the victim. They'll act hurt, withdrawn, or sad, You'll feel that pull to comfort them or make things right again. Don't. This is your trauma bond trying to reel you back in. It's your fawn response, your need to smooth things over. Fight that instinct, stay calm, stay detached, and watch what they do next. They might apologize or act remorseful. You don't need to argue or tell them you don't believe it, but don't fall for it either. Just observe, pay attention to their actions after they apologize. Do they actually change, or do they slip right back into old patterns? And remember, just because they've been cruel or manipulative doesn't mean you should be unkind in return. You can stay firm without being mean. They'll call your disengagement cold or unkind, but staying neutral is not cruelty. It's self-protection. Sometimes unmasking means letting them make mistakes and deal with the results. Maybe you stop saving them from their bad decisions. You let them follow through with a foolish plan, even if you know it will fail. They'll still blame you later, but the truth will be clearer to others. I once knew someone who always made bad travel plans. I used to fix their mistakes, doing extra research to make sure things went smoothly. But every time, they still criticized me if anything went wrong. So one day, I stopped trying to fix it. I let them plan everything, even though I knew it would be a disaster. It ruined the trip and even caused some unsafe situations. But I stayed quiet. Later, when they had to explain their poor choices to others, I didn't say I told you so. I just stayed calm, and I noticed people looking at them differently. It wasn't a full unmasking, but it made me feel less crazy. Another key piece of unmasking is reaching indifference. When you become indifferent, it's like watching a toddler throw a tantrum in public. You don't react, and you don't care what others think. It's not easy to get there, especially if you still have compassion for them. But indifference is freedom. To reach that point, start building a life outside of them. Fill your time with people and activities that give you meaning and joy. Talk with people who validate your reality. When your world becomes bigger than your relationship with the narcissist, their power shrinks. Their behavior starts to feel like background noise, annoying but not defining your life anymore. When you reach that level of detachment, the narcissist's tricks stop working. They may lash out or try to love bomb you, but you'll see right through it. You'll shrug instead of react. They might accuse you of being cold, manipulative, or giving them the silent treatment. But if you know the truth, it won't matter. That's when you become nearly immune to their gaslighting. You're calm, you're grounded, and that's when their mask really starts to slip. Here's another thing. Don't rescue them when they lose control in front of others. Narcissists often blow up in public, and for years you might have tried to protect everyone from their behavior. You've probably apologized for them, smoothed things over, or tried to keep the peace so no one else gets hurt. Stop doing that. Let them show who they really are. Sit there quietly. Don't interfere. Let other people see it for themselves. This might be uncomfortable, but it's one of the most powerful ways they unmask themselves. People might even get angry with you for not stepping in, but that's okay. You've been the shield long enough. Let others experience what you've been living with. That's how the truth spreads. And another critical point, don't use labels. Don't tell others they're a narcissist or they're toxic. Those words are thrown around too much now, and people might dismiss you as dramatic or judgmental. Instead, just describe the behavior calmly. Tell the truth without using labels. For example, if someone asks why you're not coming to an event, you can say, "They didn't want to come, and I didn't want to argue about it." That's honest and simple. If someone asks why the narcissistic person is so irritable, just say, "I don't know." Maybe ask them. Stop covering for them. You've been their spokesperson for too long. Let their behavior speak for itself. Also, don't try to call them out in front of others. It doesn't work. It usually backfires. People might defend the narcissist or think you're the one causing drama. The best thing you can do is step back and let the narcissist reveal themselves through their actions. Eventually, they will. Narcissists always do. It might take time, but the truth always shows. But even after all this, there's no guarantee everyone will see it. Some people are so loyal to narcissistic leaders, partners, or family members that they'll keep defending them no matter what happens. They'll twist reality until they're personally hurt. Sometimes it takes a major public failure, a legal issue, or undeniable evidence for others to finally see. In most cases, though, it's a slow process. You'll reach awareness and acceptance first. You'll stop reacting, stop taking the bait, stop protecting them, and stop trying to convince anyone else of what's happening. And even if people don't believe you, you'll know the truth. And by the time their mask finally falls, my hope is that you'll be too indifferent to care.